Hi, Video Diary. Uh, yeah, so today I'm pretty upset. My brother is upset. It's the first hot day, at least up here. That is, my brother isn't up here, but um, the grief seems to, I don't know, cycle, you know. The grief. What is it? The realization, the re-realization of maybe it's of not having him here. He's not a component, you know. He's not someone who needs my care or my help anymore. That hurts. I went to an event and hung out with some guys my son's age. And I see it in hindsight now, like they're survivors. And they lost people to this, too. They lost friends to this. But those guys were not gonna go that way. I don't know, is it a decision that everybody makes somehow in their lives at one point to say, I'm going to survive? I'm going to do the things that ensure my survival. And then it seems to be a type of person that just like rides it out, rides out the physical, you know, attributes of their body until they're no longer what they were or working. They don't maintain themselves. And that's this in the same way to their, relationships and so on. It's like you either work to improve your life and own it, or you just like kind of, you just along for the ride. And my son did so well the years he was off of heroin. He did so well. He rose 2 belt ranks in 1 year in jiu-jitsu, which is hard to do. He should be graduating right now. This should be the happiest time of my life. I guess, is that a false happiness, to be happy for yourself because of an achievement of a child? It's more that I was proud of him for achieving such high standards, excellence in what he did. He might have even thought he was an excellent junkie, somebody who had it under control. Somebody who was only, chipping or using, who knows, I don't know. Because we never talked about it. Because he didn't tell me anything. I saw fathers and sons today, several pairs, young and old. It's beautiful. And I remember just walking months ago right here, and my mother-in-law telling me how beautiful it was to see father and son walking down this street on their way somewhere, and how we resembled each other but were different and seemed so happy. She said, Forrest seemed so happy. Fucking hate this. Yeah, so what can I do about it? What can any of us want to say who've been violated by this? And I've said before, it's a foul. It's like it's a foul. If life is a game, shooting up with heroin and killing yourself is a foul. One that will eventually kick you out. But I miss him so much. That's the other part of it. It's like hard to it's hard to want to just be, It's hard to want to be anything. I still play, but I don't entertain. And that's an effect of this, because I realized today that all art is not a reflection of reality, but a projection of what we wish reality to be. And every photo is that, every painting. Even music is our way of describing emotions. I'm just talking about abstract music, just sounds. It's like it's still our way of saying I'm angry or I'm happy or I'm confused. And all art is, I don't want to say it's dishonest, but it is not dealing with reality. It's dealing with a projection that makes us feel better, hopeful, desirous. And that makes life easier. And there's a lot of good times in life. So it's easy to mistake that things are impermanent. It's if you're having a long life, and you know what I mean. This is just about my son, though. My son shouldn't have died. I should have been hanging out with him as well as these other guys his age. And the things they were saying to me were deep and wise. Things that Forrest, would tell me. Like, I realized, like, it's not just one direction parent, it's father to son. It's also son to father. And I miss that. He was like a counterweight. One of my counterweights, it wasn't, but maybe the main one for me. And I heard this father telling his son as he was walking down Broadway, like, well, let's say, he's giving him a hypothetical. Let's say mommy didn't go to store A, but she went to store B, and she ran into that person and found out that she didn't tell her where it was something that kid had to think out and go, yeah, that would be not the best way to handle that. And I thought about the thousands of times I did that with my son. Here's why you don't run across the road. Here's why you don't lie or hit someone or lose your temper. Here's why you don't do those things, and we would discuss them. And I just kind of felt like, man, like, those are survival skills, And if you're using junk, you're negating all that work. There's a book I gave my son that was about martial arts, like a real, true distillation of what martial arts truly is. And in this book, it talks about being in 4 states. And one of those states is one in which you're completely whitewashed, like you're so angry you can't see anything around you, or you're going to the bathroom and you couldn't protect yourself, or you're passed out drunk and anybody could do anything to you. That's like one condition. And then the next one is that you feel that everything is normal and you're aware, you're not closed inside headphones. And then another one is when there's a danger situation or a potentially dangerous situation, how you perk up your senses, how you create distance, how everybody freezes first and then they consider the flight. And then the fourth one is when everything is in chaos and what to do in those moments. But he actively placed himself, like you're doing, in the most vulnerable state. Yeah. I know it doesn't matter because, when junkies get squirted awake with naloxone or whatever the hell it is, they feel like, hey, you interrupted, it's like the cheesing episode from South Park. You interrupted a really nice thing that they were going through, or a really important thing that they were going through. That's the thing I was thinking about. Like, Forrest, we talked about that a lot. Like, never place yourself in that level of vulnerability unless absolutely necessary for a moment, like going to the bathroom. Do you understand? One of these kids told me his best friend died like an animal. Best friend. Like an animal. I think that's a degrading probably to animals, since they would never do anything like this. I don't think an animal would willingly kill itself. And I know that junkies aren't thinking that they're thinking that they're just getting high again. Great. But that's maybe where the switch could happen. Like when you shoot up, you're just inviting death. I don't know. We've been at this so many years. If people don't know it by now, then I don't know. I lost my own son. I would have done anything. I thought he was clear. I can't believe I'm processing grief. I get up every day and I'm like, man, beautiful day. What's wrong? Everything. Well, in this sense. And, as far as adjusting, doing what I can do, and what is it in my power that I can do? How can I deal with this? I can't change it. I used to say, just suck it up. Just suck it up. Every time, a person ODs and kills themselves and ruins an entire family, that's all you can do. Can't celebrate, can't mourn properly. But I see there's a deeper component, which is understanding how impermanent everything is, which of course brings, I don't know if that brings any comfort to the actual loss, but it makes at least loss in general understandable, and appreciation able to grow. So I'm appreciating my son for who he was, but I'm still really pissed at what he did, because it's stupid. It's a fucking stupid thing to do. Straight up. Fucking stupid. There must be people around who knew him who are just like shaking their heads. And if you're not, you're part of people who are using it and understand why it was worth it. Was it worth it? It's fucking stupid. That's the problem with this. Every one of these lives lost. It's like, it's just such a waste. Having these guys hang out with these guys last night was so beautiful. So beautiful. I want to find that right emotion, but I'm is the word angry? I'm angry that my son isn't one of them.